Welcome to Your Life Story, a space to explore the journey from survival to authenticity. I'm CJeane, and here we dive into the raw truths of breaking free from the expectations we've grown up with, rediscovering our voices, and just thriving after life's challenges. But this isn't just about my story, it's about life. From relationships and self-discovery to the messy, beautiful questions we all face. No topic is off limits here, so if you're ready to embrace courage, healing, and living life on your own terms, you're in the right place. Let's connect. Let's grow. Welcome to the journey. Before we dive in, a quick disclaimer. This podcast is for informational and inspirational purposes only. I'm not a licensed therapist, counselor, or medical professional, and the content shared here is based on the personal experiences and insights. If you're facing significant challenges, please seek the support of a qualified professional. Remember, your journey is unique, and you deserve the care and guidance that's right for you. Well, welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for attending another podcast. It means a great deal for you to be here, and you're in a safe, respectful place, and I believe this is important for all of us to learn. Today, we will be going over why good people get hurt and how to stop it. Who you are, your story. Highly sensitive, conditioned to be compliant, hurt deeply. Why this topic matters. The hidden cost of being good. You know, it's amazing for me to see how this feels because it's so painful. You know, in this life, we are taught that being highly sensitive is bad. If you're not compliant, you're not a good person. And they'll do anything and everything to hurt you deeply. It is just horrifying, the things that people will do when they know you feel more than the average person. And no, that does not mean there's something wrong with you. And why does this topic matter? This topic matters is because as I've been going through my healing process and studying so many subjects on healing, I've come down to think, why is it that I'm always getting hurt? And I'm not saying that I'm better than everyone because that is not the case. Because there's always going to be somebody who thinks that. What I'm thinking is I just feel things more to the core than others. And I know there's other people out there just like me. And you get taught that, oh, you're just a snowflake. You're just a sissy. You're just a wallflower, whatever they want to call you. But in actuality, you are a very important person because you feel. And if without people who feel, where do the advocates come from? We're the ones who say, no, we need to think about humanity and we need to treat them with respect. And the reason why the topic matters is because I believe it's something that I've needed for the longest time, because I was always taught to be shameful, to feel sad for who I was. I've lived my life thinking that I was never enough, that I was always missing something. Why were other people getting stuff that I didn't? And it wasn't that, is that they led me by fear and basically rejecting any type of boundaries and making me feel horrible, and the hidden cost of being good is it's so hard because people think you are weak, that you don't know how to do anything, that you're just some dumb little thing on the side that they can throw away to the side and you don't matter. And I don't think that's the case. I really believe that without us, a lot of things would go down. Why? Because some people just don't think about that. Others just think, oh, it doesn't matter. Just keep going. Just whatever who I am, save my own skin, and that's it. And I believe if that was the case, humanity would have stopped a long time ago, because there's only so much people. We've seen the issues that happen around the world when people just start thinking about themselves, and the amount of destruction that passes through them and around them is tremendous. And that is a huge high amount of cost. Whether we see it in the medical field, people being sick and feeling horrible, or, seeking therapy, medications, hospital stays, whatever it is, the costs are up there when people are treated with disrespect just because they feel more, or they just want the good things to happen and they don't want to be terrible people, And I believe it's the way we were trained. We were trained by our family, especially if your family is from another country or ethnicity. Everybody comes pre-programmed, I guess you would say, from however their family comes from. Schools, they teach you to be somebody who's always competitive, and the highest one wins. And the one that doesn't gets shunned away or tossed away to the side. Why? Because I really believe that they're just trying to see how many people they can get in that are the high performers. And if you're not, then guess what? You get whatever's left behind. And I don't believe that's okay. Religion is the same way. If you're too sensitive, then they think, that you're just not a leader. You're not somebody that can bring people to the Lord, which is ironic because God loves everyone. He just doesn't like the bad things that we do, but he always gives us an opportunity to come back to him and better ourselves. And work, don't even get me started with work. If you are sensitive or kind, then you just get treated to the side. All they care is that they know that they can put the fear of God in you, and you will be a high performer, and you will keep quiet if you want to stay. Those are the things that I believe are hard. I have seen so many people crying at work, and I think, wait a minute, we're in an environment where there's adults, professionals, I thought. Why would you make somebody cry? And I'm not saying because they're weak and they just don't want to do their job. No, it's because they are gaslit so bad and abused just because. Some of them just because. And others because they just want the performance, the results, and they don't care how they do it. Or we even get trained for praise for our self-sacrifice. And it's hard. I've seen so many things when people get rewarded for things that I believe the rest of us are doing and even better. And they are not even there, but because they are acquaintances or friends of the other individuals who have power, they get rewarded, and then the other person gets treated poorly. And again, feelings get hurt. Like I said, I'm not saying that we're weak. It's just that we want justice, equality, all the good things in the world. And I know people are going to say, hey, well, that's life. Yeah, it is life. But there's also, I think, intelligence. And I believe that people should be able to treat people with respect. There's the other one. This is the toughest one I've ever seen. It is how fear of conflict or rejection wires us to comply. Why? Because fear is so strong. So many people in this world fear. It keeps you paralyzed. You don't move one way or the other. And if you do, you get pushed around. Why? Because you're afraid of conflict with others. And I believe it's because none of us have ever been taught how to discuss things with people. It's okay to disagree with others as long as everybody gets a chance to say what they want and what they believe is the truth. Why? Because I believe in all of that, everybody can reach one common ground to get things done. And when other people are not that way and they use fear, I've seen it. I've seen people try to make it look like they're going to hurt you. I saw it at work. One time in a previous job, I remember somebody was treating me poorly, and when I voiced my boundary, that person went, smeared my name to my past manager and said, hey, this is what's going on. I remember being called into an office, and as soon as I sat down, I thought it was so strange because the face that they put on their faces was just horrible. And I thought to myself, what's going on? The worst part is when the manager pulled out a tape recorder and started talking. And as soon as I looked at the tape recorder, I said, no. I said, I have legal rights and I do not want to be recorded. Well, that was like throwing gas on a fire because this individual grabbed that tape recorder and flung it across the room next to the wall, next to me in such anger. And I was thinking, what in the world is going on? So as soon as that happened, I got myself up and I said, I'm done. And I went straight to HR to let them know what was going on. The problem is that I was so young and innocent. I had no idea that HR there was there to protect their company and at any costs. So what did they do? They came over one time and they decided to miraculously transfer me to another department without my knowledge until I came into work and they told me this. I was so furious and I started crying. I had so many emotions and I could not believe that this manager who had been abusing me for a while was allowed to just, remove me instead of having them remove the manager for treating employees with such disrespect and disdain. So what do? They're always using fear. Rejection, wires us to comply. Sometimes even in relationships, you're thinking, I cannot be let go. And some people think, oh, you're just, then that's why you deserve it or whatever. No, the thing is if the other person is holding something that you love, your children, your credit score, I don't know, all those things that you worked so hard to get that they never had, and now they're doing this to you, all you can think of is looking and finding safety. And all these things, they know you want safety, and they will try everything to get you to comply. I can go on with all the things that I've had in my life that had come. I even had one job where they got so angry at me because the person that I was married to before was abusing me so much. I could not work because what people don't understand is when your life is on the line, how are you going to work? And then yet your boss comes, oh, what's your game plan? You haven't been doing this and that. And you feel so bad because you don't feel like you should be able to share something. But you have to because you think they owe it to know why I feel this way. I don't feel safe. There was the points where I had to say, you cannot let this individual come into my workplace. They will cause harm to me. But then at the same time, I knew that this person had my children and you just don't know what to do. And then the company made me feel like I was the worst vermin in life, that how dare I was inconveniencing them. And I thought, you know what? I had been working so hard for years for them. And being the top person, you thought that one time that I needed them, that they would help me. No, they weren't. The things they did to me were horrifying. And that's why I said, sometimes we get hurt a lot. If you're highly empathetic, highly sensitive, they will come at you. They don't care. The problem is what is it? We trust so many people right off the bat because we think that everybody has good in them, and then until they show us something wrong, then we'll move. When it should be the other way around, that trust should be built. We should always be skeptical about what a person is doing because why? We don't know them. We don't know what their personality disorder might be or the things that they choose to hurt others. And why it hurts so much? Because our trust has been betrayed. I don't know about you. I don't like my trust being betrayed because trust is so important. Without trust, there is no safety. Without safety, a human being will move or freeze, right? Or they even fight. Why? Because we're human. I think that's the hardest thing is that people forget humans are allowed to be human. The hardest one is coercion that is disguised as love or loyalty. How many times the person that I was with disguised their coercion as love and loyalty? I will never forget the many times I was told, if you don't do this, then you don't love me. If you don't do this, I'll find someone else who will. If you don't do this, I will tell everybody in church how you are a horrible spouse. Or, oh, you know what? Don't talk to these individuals because they're all evil. I know it because I've interviewed them and I know they are bad people. And you think, oh, okay, well, that's fine. Or if you don't do this, guess what I'm going to do to you? That one blew me away. And then they think, and then you can't even cry or be emotional because then they start saying that you're crazy. Oh, that one's brutal. You don't get to call me crazy after you've come and basically attacked me, And of course we cry. I cry when I'm super angry because I know I can't hurt anybody. Why? Number one, I know who I am. Number two, like we used to say at one place, yeah, it's a high price to go to jail. Not worth it. Not worth it, And the pain that you have because of the coercion and that nobody sees it, or if they see it, they turn a blind eye on you. Oh man, the many times I've had people turn a blind eye on that, and I think, oh, you go and tell people about things about me, but yet I never saw you defend me once. Not once. I had one family friends that I used to talk to at a church, and I told them what was going on, and they said, oh no, you've helped us through so much in our lives. We need to help you. And I was happy. When they got back to me, they told me that they would never speak to me ever again because they spoke to the person I used to be with, and I guess he scared them to death that they actually moved and told me that they would never be able to speak to me again because their number one safe priority was their family. I was floored. I was like, what did he do to them? What kind of coercion, what kind of threats did he do that those people left? And then I can't be highly sensitive or empathetic. I can't use any of my feelings, but it hurts. Why? The extra sting for empaths, we feel everything deeply. I don't know if you've seen movies, podcasts, or just individuals, and it makes you cry terribly. So they know it, and they're going to use it against you. So how are we going to start to change it? Awareness. Noticing when you say yes, but feel no. Once you see that, no, you have a right to go back and say no. Small scripts for gentle no's. Let me think about it. I love it. I'm not available for that right now. Managing the guilt. This is the number one for us who feel so much. Guilt. Guilt is proof you're changing the pattern, okay? So many times I voiced my boundaries and I felt so guilty because I thought I am a cruel person. They're not going to like me. They're going to treat me terribly. I have to tiptoe. And no, that's when exactly you know you're doing the right thing, because a user and a manipulator, they hate when you say no because you've always been giving and saying a yes. So coping strategies, grounding helps a lot. You need to get out there. You need to feel the air. Just need to know that you're in the presence, alive, Self-reassurance. So many times you have to say out loud, I'm okay. I'm safe. Or no, this isn't okay. No, I actually like to do this instead. Community. Community is good to have with you. I know that if you can't have real community in close proximity, Instagram, YouTube, all those places, there's so many advocates out there. And like I said, I praise them. They're the ones who got me through everything. I hate to say it. My church never got me through anything. I even begged them for prayers and Bible studies and just community, and they gave me nothing. Nothing. All the people who said that they were my friends, they all disappeared. Every single one of them. And the ones that stayed were just nosy people who I knew they were just flying monkeys who would report all that information back to you know who. And I would not let that happen. Even at work. At work, people are always trying to communicate back, no matter where they can find you on social media platforms. Why? Because they want to know more, but they never wanted to help you. And I don't believe that is okay. So find great communities. And if one doesn't work, then you excuse yourself, move it along. Find people who are in your tribe. So the encouragement I give you, your story is how you're learning. This is how you will learn to heal. I tell my story, it heals others, but I also like to be able to help others. What's possible? Strength with softness. We need to use our strength with softness, not with force, because then we become like them. But we can be very astute at what we do. I want to know, where have you been too compliant? What's one small boundary you can test this week? Let me know. I would love to learn to hear what you had to do to be compliant and what you're going to start doing now to implement small little boundaries to keep going in your life. I really want you to help yourself. Just like I help myself every day, one small thing, I get it. As much as we feel, we also like to be strong and to do things. Like I said, we are high performers and we want to get things done. But sometimes we want so much done that we don't do anything. So something that I've learned with great help from advocates is start out small and then start increasing as you go. I really believe that is something really great. So thank you again for coming, for joining on today's episode of Your Life Story with CJeane. I think it's important that you come out and listen to my to my musics on the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of Your Life Story with CJeane. I hope it gave you something to think about, feel, or explore on your own journey. If this episode resonated with you, I love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share it with someone who might need it or reach out to connect. I think it'd be great. I love to hear things. I want it to be a safe community where we can help and rise. In the future, I will be offering my little clarity sessions. I think it's important that you can talk to me. I will have some free products out there, but also if you want to talk one-on-one, I will have that available to you. Coming soon, you will see my calendar where you can go ahead and choose a spot where we can talk, find ways how we can disseminate and work out all your life's questions, as far as when you've been hurt, whether it was a relationship, work, or church, or family, something that can help you rise to becoming a new you. Thank you so much.